Your morning decides your day. To change your results, sometimes the fastest way is not to change your goals, but to change what you do in the first hour after waking up. The most successful people across business, sports, science, and creative industries share one powerful truth. Their mornings are intentional, structured, and designed to create momentum before the world starts demanding their attention. Today we'll break down 5 habits of high achievers you can start copying immediately, not because they are trendy productivity hacks, but because they are rooted in psychology, neuroscience, and consistent patterns seen among people who perform at the highest level. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to build a morning routine that boosts focus, reduces stress, and helps you take control of your life starting tomorrow. Habit number 1 is waking up with purpose instead of reacting to your phone. This is more powerful than it sounds because many people begin their day by scrolling notifications, social media, or emails, which instantly puts their brain into reactive mode, meaning they are responding to other people's priorities instead of setting their own direction. High achievers often create a small buffer between waking up and digital input, even if it's just 10 to 20 minutes. This allows the brain to transition gradually from sleep to awareness, stabilizing mood and improving decision-making capacity. One simple strategy is to define a clear first action that you repeat every morning, such as drinking water, opening a journal, or stepping outside for fresh air, which signals to your brain that you are starting with intention, rather than distraction. You don't need a perfect routine or a 5 a.m. wake-up time to benefit from this, because the real principle is ownership of attention, not early rising for its own sake. Habit number 2 is movement to activate both body and mind. This doesn't mean you need to run a marathon before breakfast, but research consistently shows that light physical activity in the morning increases blood flow to the brain, enhances cognitive performance, and elevates mood through the release of endorphins and dopamine. This explains why so many successful people include stretching, yoga, walking, or short workouts in their routine, because even 5 to 10 minutes of movement can signal energy and readiness to your nervous system, helping you feel more awake naturally rather than relying entirely on caffeine. A powerful example is the idea of activation energy, where starting with physical action creates psychological momentum, making it easier to tackle challenging tasks later in the day. If you struggle with consistency, consider pairing movement with something enjoyable like listening to inspiring audio or simply stepping outside into sunlight, which also helps regulate your circadian rhythm and improve sleep quality at night. Habit number 3 is mental clarity through reflection or planning, which is often misunderstood as complicated productivity systems when in reality it can be as simple as writing down 3 priorities for the day. Because successful individuals understand that clarity reduces anxiety. Instead of carrying a vague mental to-do list that drains cognitive resources, they externalize their thoughts onto paper or digital tools, allowing their brain to focus on execution rather than remembering. Journaling or planning also gives you an opportunity to align daily actions with long-term goals, preventing the common trap of being busy without making progress. Many high performers use this time to visualize success, review goals, or practice gratitude, which might sound small but has significant psychological effects by shifting attention toward opportunity rather than stress, helping you start your day with confidence rather than overwhelm. Habit number 4 is focused learning or personal growth before work begins. This is one of the most underrated practices because mornings often offer the highest level of mental clarity before external distractions accumulate. This is why many high achievers dedicate even 15 minutes to reading, studying, or developing a skill, turning small daily efforts into massive long-term advantages through compound growth. The key idea here is consistency over intensity, meaning you don't need to study for hours every morning, but rather create a reliable habit that strengthens your identity as someone who is constantly improving, whether that means reading a chapter of a book, watching an educational video, or practicing a language. Over time, this builds both competence and confidence, reinforcing a growth mindset that carries into every area of life. Habit number 5 is creating a calm and intentional emotional state before stepping into responsibilities. which might involve meditation, deep breathing, prayer, or simply sitting quietly for a few moments, because emotional regulation is one of the strongest predictors of success. Yet many people rush into their day feeling scattered or stressed. Taking even a few minutes to slow down can lower cortisol levels, improve focus, and enhance emotional resilience, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively when challenges arise. This practice is especially powerful in a fast-paced world where constant stimulation can fragment attention and increase mental fatigue. By grounding yourself early, you establish a stable emotional baseline that influences how you interpret and handle events throughout the day. Now, as we combine these 5 habits together, it's important to understand that successful morning routines are not about copying someone else's schedule perfectly, but about understanding the principles behind them, such as intentionality, energy management, clarity, growth, and emotional balance. You can adapt these ideas to your own lifestyle, work demands, and personal preferences because the goal is sustainability rather than perfection. One effective approach is to start small by choosing just one habit to implement tomorrow, such as spending 5 minutes, planning your day, or doing a short stretch session, then gradually layering additional practices as they become automatic, because lasting change comes from building systems rather than relying on motivation alone. Another key insight is to design your environment to support your routine, such as placing a notebook beside your bed, preparing workout clothes in advance, or setting a gentle alarm sound that encourages calm awakening rather than stress. As you experiment with your morning routine, pay attention to how different actions affect your energy, mood, and productivity, adjusting as needed until you find a rhythm that feels both effective and authentic. Remember that the power of a morning routine lies not only in the actions themselves, but in the identity you reinforce each day, the identity of someone who takes ownership of their time, invests in growth, and approaches life proactively rather than passively. Over weeks and months, this identity shift becomes the foundation for larger achievements because consistency compounds in ways that are often invisible at first, but transformative over time. You may notice improved focus, reduced procrastination, stronger confidence, and a greater sense of control over your day, which in turn influences relationships, career progress, and personal fulfillment. While it's tempting to believe that successful people are simply more disciplined or naturally motivated, the reality is that many rely on structured routines to reduce decision fatigue and create reliable momentum, allowing them to perform even on days when motivation is low. Instead of waiting for inspiration, they design systems that make positive action the default choice, and you can do the same. By viewing your morning as a launch pad rather than a rushed transition, asking yourself each day, what small actions today will create a powerful start? And committing to those actions consistently, because the difference between an average day and an extraordinary one often begins in the first hour after waking up. By intentionally shaping that hour, you are shaping the trajectory of your life. As you finish watching this video, take a moment to reflect on which of these 5 habits resonates most with you and how you can implement it starting tomorrow morning. Whether it's waking up without immediately checking your phone, adding a few minutes of movement, writing down your priorities, dedicating time to learning, or grounding yourself through mindfulness. Choose one and commit to it. Then gradually build your personalized routine step by step. If you found value in this breakdown and want more insights that help you upgrade your mindset and daily habits, don't forget to implement these tomorrow and subscribe to Mindshift Global.